everyone, my name is Ginny, and today we're going to draw something for my art shop and talk about how I make money with my art and what you can do to start making some extra income on the side with your art. So before we get started on today's topic, let's talk about this drawing. This is the cover for my latest mixtape. If you follow me on Blue Sky, you've already seen this completed piece. I'll talk a bit more about it at the end of the video with the final reveal of the full drawing and the full mixtape. So let's get started. So my main money makers are Etsy for online sales, and then art shows and conventions for in-person selling, and also a little bit of Gumroad, which is another online storefront. We'll do a quick blurb about Gumroad first. Here on screen is my Gumroad storefront, and as you can see, I only sell digital products. It's how I make the least amount of my money, but it's also the most hands-off. It's all digital goods, like templates and Procreate brushes and some code. I mean, is it passive income? Yeah. Do I only make about $10 a month on Gumroad right at the moment? Also yes. Are all my products pay what you want? Yes. Okay, on to Etsy. So why I personally use Etsy? I don't think Etsy needs an introduction. There's a lot of pros and cons, and I'm sure you've heard most of them. Probably all of these, to be honest. I've had my Etsy storefront for about 3 years now, and it's only now just making enough money to really make an impact in my income. Let's talk about the pros of Etsy. So they really market for you, and they come with a built-in customer base. Etsy ads definitely bring me new customers. I definitely make more money than I spend on ads. The SEO is really easy to learn. Search engine optimization. Very important for online sales. You really don't have to do a lot of marketing on social media either. After you make those first few sales and get, a few really good customer reviews, they really start to push your products when they see that people like you and people want what you're selling. It's really easy to learn. New listings are very easy to make, and it's scalable. I think I've had upwards of 70 products on my page at one point, just like individual stickers, but they'll let you put up as many listings pretty much as you want. I don't think there's a limit. If there is, I'll edit one in here. But yeah, there's a lot of really good built-in features too. They have like customer and seller protection, a decent messaging system, and analytics so you can see which products are selling well and which ones aren't. Okay, so the cons of Etsy. The fees. Just holy moly, the fees. I think they take 6.5% out of every sale, 20 cents a listing. They charge for offsite ads, which is a little annoying because you can't really opt out of those ads. When you start your Etsy storefront, there are a lot of phishing scams that come into your messaging box, and you really have to be a little savvy on avoiding getting scammed by quote unquote customers. As I mentioned in the pros, you really kind of have to market yourself and your shop for the first few sales and reviews. Once the ball gets rolling, they're really good at marketing you and getting you kind of not high in the search results. They definitely push your products a bit more on other pages and stuff, but you really have to get those first reviews and sales. My shop didn't really pick up until I made maybe my first 25 sales. So if you have an okay following on social media, you might be able to get your Etsy ball rolling pretty well. Another couple of cons. They support AI. They do not police AI artwork, so the platform is pretty littered with it. They also don't care about all the drop shippers. They've made it pretty clear that they're not going to do anything about AI art and drop shipping. So your stuff does get kind of buried in garbage. But I mean, if you're making quality things, your customers do take notice. That's really why I use Etsy. I've tried other shop platforms like WooCommerce and Shopify. I've tried like Redbubble. I find Etsy definitely works for the amount I want to sell, and the customer base I'm trying to sell to. The next way I sell my art is at conventions and art shows. It's a great way to network. I always have a lot of fun when I go to conventions. I am a bit of an introvert, so they do kind of wear me down. I've met so many wonderful people and sellers and customers alike in Artist Alley. Let's talk about the pros. So some of the pros and cons. It's really uplifting, as I said, to see like other people's reaction to my art. It's really helped me dial in my style and really understand what I enjoy making and what people are looking for. I really enjoy that it's direct sales. I get cash in hand. There's no shipping. You just give it to the customer and they walk away. As I mentioned before, it's a great way to meet new people, new artists, and you really can grow your community by going to conventions. I've definitely grown quite a bit just from the couple of years that I've done conventions. There are quite a few cons to going to cons. It's expensive. I can't mince words there. It is expensive to start convention selling. You need to have a setup, like displays, and sometimes you need your own tables and chairs. You also need product to sell, so you have to have a lot of product on hand, depending on what kind of conventions you're planning on doing. For smaller ones, you don't need as much, but if you are trying to get into some of the bigger conventions, you're gonna want at least enough inventory to sell to thousands of people. And the table fees. The table fees can be a lot. At least here in New England, a lot of the tabling fees are upwards of $350 just for the weekend. And a lot of time that includes the badges, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't include like a helper badge. It's expensive to go to Artist Alley. If you plan on doing it, you're probably gonna want to buy things gradually, and you're gonna need places to store all your stuff too. So I live in an apartment, and it's a fairly large apartment, but still all of the Artist Alley stuff that I have lives in the bed of our pickup truck. So other cons. Selling at Artist Alley is scalable, but only to really a point. You kind of run out of table room and vertical space eventually. I mean, you can get pretty creative and get a lot of product on your table, but at a certain point, you kind of have to stop or put old product into clearance so you can make room for new product. Oh my gosh. And all of the applications, just so many applications. It's so time consuming looking for conventions to sell at and art shows, and then being on time with the applications. It was really hard at first to get the timing correct. My first year, I wasn't a part of any like Discord groups or anything. I'm now a part of the Artist Alley network, and it's really easy to see when tabling events are coming up in my area and when the big ones have opened their applications. But it's a chore, and I was pretty much daily looking for applications and conventions that were opening up applications before I joined these Discord groups. I mean, I do still think the pros outweigh the cons for going to anime conventions. I'm gonna do a full deep dive into why I'm personally not doing very many conventions this year, even though I went to probably like upwards of 20 a year in the previous years. It's definitely like something I'm going to continue doing in the future. I have the setup and I have the want. So yeah, that's how I make my money with my art. I definitely prefer Etsy to anime conventions right now. Mostly because, as I said, I'll do a whole video on this, but they're expensive and they're time consuming to get into. So some tips for selling your art online. What kind of stuff do you personally find interesting? And like, what are the products that you really enjoy buying? Do you really love having a million art prints on your wall? Do you have an Ita bag with pins, like acrylic pins or enamel pins and a bunch of keychains? Do you collect like a bunch of trinkets? Do you have like a jacket that's full of buttons? Do you stick stickers on like literally everything in your life? Think about the things that you really enjoy buying and try to make those things. Another piece of advice I have is like make a variety of products in different price points. When I first started, I was pretty much only selling buttons and stickers, which are fun to make. I was selling them for all very cheap, like below $5, and I wasn't making a lot of money doing that. When I started selling keychains for $10 to $15, other things, I sell my mixtapes now, which are all over $20. I started making real money. Like, definitely, it's nice to have affordable things, but definitely put a few things up on your shop that are above $20, because some people do want to buy those more expensive things. For example, if you like making enamel pins, maybe after you've been doing that for a while, consider making Ita bags or pin boards or ribbons to put your pins on if you're sewing inclined. My next bit of advice is really find your niche. Find the people who are passionate about the same subjects and stuff that you are. Like, do you like video games, anime, cartoons? Are you really into drawing cool OCs? Are you in a subculture of some kind, like J-fashion or goth culture? Really figure out what the people who are in your culture really enjoy making and buying. It intertwines you more into the culture that you're already in. And lastly, my last bit of advice is just keep at it. Keep at it and don't get discouraged, because you have to be your biggest cheerleader when it comes to selling your art. You have to love what you do. You have to love what you make. Honestly, I know there's a lot of imposter syndrome out there. I know I had it for the longest time. Once you start putting your art in front of people, I feel like a lot of that self-doubt starts to melt away, because people are like, oh, I love your stuff. Oh, I love what you're doing. Well, okay, so at least for me, it was like, oh, this is so fun and niche. I love these colors. I love how you draw your faces. I love how you use your characters. Just like, it was also very encouraging. And I guarantee that people out there are going to say the same thing about your stuff. They're going to love what you make. So just keep putting yourself out there and keep at it, because you're a great artist too. I know you are. You're going to do great things. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about what we ended up making. And here's the final mixtape in person with all the stuff printed out, and also with all the music recorded onto it. I absolutely love how this turned out. This mixtape is called Simulated Emotions. It's very loosely The Sims based. There are some The Sims 1 and 2 music on there, but there's also a lot of really liminal, weird core, retro wave, synth wave. It's like it's a journey. It's a fun journey. I love listening to this mixtape, and you've been listening to this mixtape. I've been putting songs that are on this mixtape in the background of this video. So, also, it's up on my Etsy now, so if you like it, you can go check it out. All of my links are in the description. Anyways, I guess it's time to end the video now. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I hope to see you on the next one. I'm going to talk about why I'm not doing anime conventions this year, even though I just sang their praises not too long ago. Anyways, see you on the next one.